Welcome everyone to another episode of the TBD podcast.
Woo
I am
woo.
your host slash, I guess, the conductor for this episode, Doug, and I'm joined by my co-host.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Jose.
Hey, and
Hey.
it is today, December 17th. We are almost out of this year.
Almost out of the year into another one. Woot woot.
So, do you think next year is going to be worse?
Well, unfortunately, all the world's problems does not disappear at the beginning of the year. So,
Crap.
yeah, it's gonna roll over to the next one.
I was really thinking about it, and I guess this will go into how our week has been going. But real quick, do you think aliens would make our lives easier or harder? Like if we find alien.
Uh, if they're like Rick and Morty aliens, I think it'd be all right. Where it's like we've come here to make your life better, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if they come in like the Mass Effect aliens where they're like, "Hey guys, how's it going? Oh, by the way, we know like star traveling and all that. Here's the technology, and you'll learn it in like 5 years or something."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But what do you think? Like if you see aliens come out the sky tomorrow, or I guess January 2nd, 2021, you see aliens come out the sky. What's your first thought? You're like, ah shit, or oh,
Yeah,
you know?
my first thought is, oh shit. Uh, my second thought is, you guys should have came January 20th. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
We're like, you guys came just a few days too early. All right, you leave and come back. All right, when we got our old man in chief.
Dude, this was reminding me too. I like how we just got into this conversation, but it was reminding me of did you see the news story like a few days ago where it was like a former Israeli space security chief says like came out and said, "Oh yeah, aliens exist. Humanity's just not ready."
I did not see that, but
It,
I've always believed in aliens. I mean, if so, here's the thing: the universe is ever expanding. Like,
yeah.
so if literally everything is bigger than I could possibly comprehend. I'm not saying it's like ET kind of aliens, but there are other life forms out there. There just has to be. It just it's just not possible for it not to.
Yeah.
We can't be the singular. There was a comedian who said it. I think it was Little Dicky who actually in one of his songs, "Pillow Talking," where he. I don't know if you heard the song, but the whole song is like
Yeah.
him talking to a girl after they just had sex, and at one point he like goes into this whole like breakdown of if aliens exist and all that. I gotta show you it after this. I can't show you now because the song will get copyrighted. But actually, um, I'll share it with you now. What the hell?
Well, oh, I mean, I know the song. I know the
Oh,
part you're talking about.
okay, okay. I didn't know if you knew it or not. Okay, you should have stopped me sooner. Anywho, so
Yeah,
that
so I'm reading this because it just like popped into my head. I'm like,
y-
yeah, according to a retired Israeli officer and current professor, he says yes, there are aliens, but it's been kept secret and apparently only or Israel and the U.S. know about it,
yeah,
but we just
I,
ain't ready.
I can believe it, and he makes back to the point in Little Diggy's song that the hopefully there is a God, and that's saying, anywho, but like for him, for some people to have the thought that God was like, okay, I'm only gonna make like this small population of people on this little tiny rock in this ever expanding universe is ridiculous.
Yeah, of course. Do you, do you think do you think like that's gonna be one of the last things Trump does when he like leaves off? He's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's aliens. This
he
ain't a
tweet,
secret anymore.
you know,
Peace.
if he tweets that out, that'd be tight.
Oh, dude, that'd be an awesome tweet. Just like, hey, by the way, aliens exist. That he sends that
and,
out
he,
January. That goes out January 19th at 11:59.
and what is it? He,
Yeah.
he he uses like the Obama dropping the mic gif. just to make it even funnier. That'd be hilarious.
Do it. Yeah. Uh, so we got into this random thing, but how was your week?
My
I should
week's
say.
been my week's been good. Um, this episode we are also recording much later than normal because once again I fell asleep. Uh, Me and Doug had a quick conversation about this just before that. It seems every day I go to bed late or I have a hard time going to sleep. But for some reason, on Thursdays, when I know I need to be up at 9 o'clock to record, is when I always fall asleep. And I don't know why.
Yeah,
Besides,
I think your body's just used to it. It's
I,
essentially all it is.
I don't know.
Your body
Um,
has developed a pattern, and it now anticipates the pattern.
I
Like
suppose.
even if next week you don't fall asleep, you're gonna want to fall asleep. Your
Yeah,
body's gonna tell you, "Hey, we do this every week. Come on, man."
yeah. One thing that's been going constant throughout this week is me playing Ghost of Tsushima. It's been a blast.
Of course.
Um, I tweeted out the other day. I don't know if you saw it, Doug. It was I'll probably throw up the tweet now. It's like I don't know why they would add a Kurosawa mode and make it such a big deal if they're gonna give me essential missions that are like, hey, follow the blue flowers. And for those who are listening, Kurosawa mode is basically, well, it's based off of the legendary Kurosawa movies like Seven Samurai. Is it Seven Samurai?
Yep.
Here, okay, Seven Samurai. A whole list of other ones. That's just the top first one that pops in my head. And it's all black and white. So my whole screen's black and white. It looks like film graded, like it has texture to it, whatever. But then they're like, oh, follow the colorful flowers. So I'm like, man, I gotta break my cool looking game and switch it to color so I could follow these stupid flowers. So that was just one gripe I had. How about you, Doug? How was your week?
My week was a little decent. I decided last week to kind of be like, hey, let's do one last week where I could hang out with friends before I'm like, no, let me stop because this Saturday I'm actually leaving the state of Florida for 2 weeks.
And your drive and your,
Yes, we're picking up the car tomorrow to be
oh, you're getting a
precise.
rental.
Yes. Oh yeah, no, we're not gonna.
So are you
My
just out of curiosity, you guys dropping the rental off when you get to there, or
no,
are you
because
keeping the
no,
rental the
because
whole
we're
time?
keeping it the whole way. Because that way we'll also use the car while over there if we need to go grocery shopping.
Ah, okay, okay.
And we might even just, and if we go traveling around just looking like sightseeing, we
Mm-hmm.
might just go in that car only
Ah, okay, okay. I get you.
because it is big enough for the entire family.
Ah, okay, that's nice. What is it?
So we're driving up next week. Everyone expect an episode from me again, talking about the road trip,
Yee.
and
Can't wait to
yeah,
hear
just a little.
that.
I'll go through that. Yeah. So this week I kind of caught up with a few friends I haven't seen in forever.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and we watched a movie. We watched the movie you brought us, the Jackie Chan police story.
How'd you like
One.
it? Or how'd you guys
Uh,
like it?
My second time watching it, I enjoyed it just as much.
I know it was Allah's first time because he doesn't
And
watch
Johnny,
many movies.
yeah, they came out liking it because we we were joking. We weren't really paying attention, but that's the fun about Police Story, is
Mm-hmm.
that it is a perfect movie for parties because you can come in, watch like a scene, and then step out, do something you want, whatever. Like let's say we're watching it at a party, not during COVID. Like you can watch a part, like oh cool action scene, and be like, all right, I'm gonna go make myself a drink. You do that, eat or whatever. You come back and you'll know what's happening.
Right,
Essentially, yeah,
right.
and that's what makes the movie so great. And just as well, the stunts by Jackie Chan are just mind blowing. You need to watch it whenever you get a chance.
I mean, of course. I have the movie. I'm the one who gave it to
I'm
you.
telling you. Yeah,
It's on
but you
HBO
gotta do it.
Max too, so I'll
You
probably
gotta open it.
I will.
But I think your version. I think your version is like the better quality one, though.
Well, I mean, I'd watch both of them either way. Anywho, but speaking of, this is just one thing I want to add quickly. One news thing that HBO Max is finally on Roku.
Yes, Roku now has HBO Max.
Yes. Woo.
And speaking of which, one of our discussions we want to talk about, we watched a certain documentary that came out just this week, it seems.
Yes. And I had one gripe I wanted to mention about this. Let me pull this up here.
I think we have sort of gripes, but let's.
Do you want to talk about the gripes
Well,
first or after the
let's
trailer?
for our audio listeners and people. We were talking about the new the Bee Gees documentary.
How Can You Mend a Broken Heart?
Yes,
Is the title.
It just came out, I think, this week, if not last week.
Last Saturday, which was December 12th.
Yes. Yeah, I know for sure. I watched it on. Yeah, I watched it all on Sunday.
Yeah. Do you want me to hit play on this or?
Yeah, let's watch it. Watch the trailer.
Welcome, the Bee Gees. The Bee Gees. Once again, the fabulous Bee Gees.
The most exciting sound in the world.
The biggest grossing album in the history of music.
Has the enormous success changed your life?
Well, I was speaking to one of my friends the other day, and as he was cleaning my shoes, I said, listen.
Triplets.
That was a good
sense of humor. We had the
Rumors that the group is splitting up. Would you like to verify those rumors? No. No.
We all wanted individual recognition. All three of us did things to each other that I think we're all sorry for. I said, let's make an album in Miami. We had to adopt a new attitude and a new sound.
So why don't we just take a bar out of Night Fever and see if we can make a loop out of it? We were breaking new ground.
It was extraordinary. The Fever thing happened, that's when everything exploded.
I mean, that could very easily have just been a horn line. But instead, their voices are so sick, they're like, nah, we're gonna sing it.
They were on the first wave of global pop superstardom, if you want to call it that.
They had the top 5 hits any given week. For those of us at the radio station, we're gonna take hostages.
How about the Bee Gees?
When you become famous, you think everyone loves you and they're going to love you forever. That is not true. We really could not get on the radio, so the whole idea was to write for other people.
It was just as important for us to have an artist singing one of our songs and being on the radio as it was for ourselves.
Everything we set out to do, we did, against all odds. I can't honestly come to terms with the fact that they're not here anymore.
To be honest with you, so watching this, like watching the trailer again, makes me want to watch the documentary again. I really liked it.
Yes, people, the Bee Gees,
yes.
Barry, Mo, and Robin.
Let me find a nice picture of them to leave this on. No, I can't find it.
No.
All right, so
you could just find one in post to just make a picture.
I mean, there's some certain parts that I'd want to scan through here as we talk about it, but go ahead.
Yeah, I guess let's do a quick little review. Oh, that's perfect, right?
It's actually really perfect. Okay. So
that's perfect for me as someone coming in. I didn't know much about the Bee Gees. I knew they were around during disco era, and that was about it. I knew the songs, the famous songs at least.
Mm-hmm.
So coming in, I was very surprised, especially because like it is, an hour of like, oh, here's what they did before that and how they were famous here and they were kind of considered like part like the Australian Beatles, and I was like, I did not know any of this.
Right.
So for me, that was great. It just felt like I came out like I really don't know this band.
Did it make you like, man, I want to listen to some of their music now?
It's a little too oldie for me. I don't think
No.
it's not really my style, but I did appreciate listening to it in the moment. Like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So, so I want to start with my one gripe. It has nothing to do with the documentary itself. It has all to do with HBO, right? So when you first looked it up on HBO Max, it said it's coming out December 12th, right? So Saturday morning, December 12th, I woke up and I was like, okay, let me watch the Beatles, the Bee Gees, How to Mend a Broken Heart documentary at like 8 in the morning. So I'm looking for it and I don't see it. I'm like, okay, that's weird. It said it was coming out today. So I typed it up, still not coming. I'm like, okay, fine. So I pull out my phone. I'm like, what? When does the Bee Gees How Can You Mend a Broken Heart documentary come out, right? And it came out at 8 p.m., right, on Saturday. And I'm like, if you're going to release it at like late at night, can you at least put it on HBO Max so I know when to come back for it? So I'm not.
They were doing like how they did for like Game of Thrones.
Right. And like I don't mind them releasing it at a certain time. Just let me know so I don't wake up in the morning thinking, "Oh man, I'm going to watch a Bee Gees documentary as I have my breakfast." You know, cuz I was looking forward to that. But, you know, that's not the case. As for the their life stuff, hold on. Let's see. So I knew about the British invasion stuff because I'm a fan of the Bee Gees, but like I don't really like their early work. I'm gonna be real honest with you. The A lot of the bands that like were kind of riding that Beatle wave, I don't really like it. Like even some of the Beatles early stuff I don't like. Like I don't know, it's something about it. Just
It's just not your thing. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But like their later stuff I love. Like this whole era, nah, homie.
Yeah, it just felt like a lot of slowish paced songs and just
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I'm not. As I did, like, I thought they were just making music the whole time. I didn't know they took a break and then came back, and then took a break again and then came back again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you mean when they fought?
Yeah.
When they fought the first time and
when the whole Miami thing. At first I completely forgot it. And like until I was watching it, I was like, wait, my parents told me that around this time this was all the music that they were playing in the club. So I was like, why did I not put two and two together? Let's see, there's one specific part. Let me tell you, this album, the Saturday Night Fever album, oh my god, that thing is fire from front to back.
yeah, it does look like it. I mean, they were showing the songs that were on the track. I'm like, well, that's essentially all their hits right there, or like that's the majority of their hits.
Yeah, and then there was one song by Andy Gibb, which is the younger brother of the three.
Yes.
One thing I also wanted to mention, I forgot that for the longest time when I was a kid, I did not think that they were like all related. I don't know why. Just never dawned on me.
You know, that was the thing too. I didn't even know they had a younger brother. I didn't even know Andy Gibb was a thing. And I would always I would hear on the radio, I Just Want to Be Your Everything, and I just thought, oh, that's a Bee Gees song.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I thought the same thing.
Because he does do a good job of copying it's Barry who does that, the falsetto, right?
Well, what is it? They pointed one thing out in the documentary, which I thought was actually pretty funny. So Barry and Andy, so the oldest and the youngest, they're not twins, but they both look the same, act the same, and sing the same. And then the two actual twins, They don't look the same. They're polar opposites of each other, sing kind of the same, and I just found that funny. Like, and then also I didn't know the John Travolta deal. That thing was the deal of the century. They paid John Travolta like $1 million to do Saturday Night Fever and Grease.
I mean, he was a young guy at that point.
Yeah,
Must have been, but yeah, you signed on to make like two of the biggest movies in your career, essentially.
Right. And then this other part, for our audio listeners, I'm on the part where it's like the anti-disco.
The anti-disco night at the baseball. So there was one night, nearing the end of disco where. Well, I guess this was the moment that they kind of signaled as the end of disco.
I don't think it was the end of disco, because they did like still do a little bit after.
It was one of the big movements that was like, okay, this thing is coming to an end.
Right, but there was one person, I can't remember their name, in the documentary that made a really good point about this. And if you take a step back, like, I always knew about the anti-disco movement, but like when you take a step back and look at really where disco comes from and kind of like their inflection of why they hate it, it's very anti-homosexual and anti-black, like this whole anti-disco movement.
Yeah, so I guess just to clarify for people who didn't watch the docker, so yeah, there was this one night at a baseball stadium. They told everyone, if you bring a disco album, we'll give you a discount entry into the game. So it was one of the security guards, that's the one being interviewed. He was saying that he noticed that some of the albums that were being given
a lot of the albums
weren't even disco. A lot were R&B or just black artists music.
Right, but even disco itself, like even the Bee Gees admitted, like a lot of it even their early work came a lot from
a lot of influence. They love they
like
have
blues,
a love
soul,
for that.
And then the disco music itself really started in the gay clubs, which, excuse me, I didn't even know, but it was interesting to learn that. So
it was interesting. Although I do gotta say, this is a bit of a gripe I had, because it just, for me at least, it just felt kind of out of left field. This whole like thing that they were trying to discuss, like this theory, in a way of like.
Is it? I don't think it's really a theory though.
I mean, he's giving a theory. It could have been anything. I mean, I'm not trying to defend anyone. I'm just saying, like, it just felt something so out of left field when he said that I was just like, okay, I thought this is about the Bee Gees, not about the deaths of disco. You get what I mean?
Well, yeah, I get what you mean, but in the same vein, like if you think about it, like the biggest disco artist, like the Bee Gees are like the Michael Jackson of disco, or like the Drake of rap, or let me think of another artist.
No, let's.
You know what I mean? Like they're the poster child for it. So their turn to songwriting and selling their songs kind of like went hand in hand with that. There was one other thing. If you actually this part, if I could not recommend an album more to you, it's the Barbra Streisand. Hold on. Streisand, Guilty. Right? If I could not recommend an album more, I would recommend this one. I love this album to death, bro. You gotta you gotta listen to it. The Barbra Streisand Guilty album. It's like Barry's first walk away from the Bee Gees into making other music. Like after their disco break.
Yes.
Bro, that album was so good.
Yeah, so that was a little mini thing. It just felt something like out of left field. I was like, I would prefer maybe a doc talking more about that. I am very interested in that.
Yeah.
but it just felt so out, like kind of left field. It's like, oh, you're introducing this now
Maybe they're
near
making
the endish of the movie. You get what?
maybe they're making a second. Oh, this is a nice picture too. Maybe they're making a second, documentary. I think I would like to see a documentary about the quote death of disco and kind of
Because
like
they also do talk about that, the death of disco, where it's like it was also corporations that try to get into it and just try to get cheap things out of them, and also radio stations that didn't have much budgets for songs, so it was like you had the Bee Gees and you had like maybe four other songs you could play.
Mm-hmm.
Any other gripes with the movie? Anything else you want?
No gripes, but let me tell you, these 3 fits are nice. Anywho,
the only thing I have to complain the movie about is that, for me as a doc, it felt more like I was reading the Wikipedia article about the Bee Gees.
Well, what is it? And you gotta have to take this with a grain of salt when 2 of the 3 members, even Barry mentioned it at the beginning. History can only be so accurate. Like, he can only say from his perspective. He can't give like the other two's perspective on it. So right now you're just getting like Barry's view, and then everyone else's like old takes on it after they don't have more time to reflect on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I just feel like at the end of the movie, I knew who the Bee Gees were, but I didn't know who each member was.
Right.
Who is Robin? What makes him? Why is he cool? Why is people like Mo? Why do people like Barry so much? What is it about them? You could say something like
Barry
he's
so much.
charismatic. He's this. He's very outgoing. He's very party-like. He is faithful. I just feel like I didn't know that. Like at the end of the movie, I just felt like I knew the Bee Gees. I just don't know who. I don't know what Mo is.
Yeah.
Is Mo the? I guess Ron was the shy person, just because one line that they said.
Oh, what is it? Well, they had an interview with him too, where he's like, "Oh, it takes me a long time to open up to people." So I mean, I guess but
they just made that one sentence. Like that was just that one bit. I didn't know much else about him.
Well, to be fair, also, I think the point of the documentary was not to go over them as individuals, but more of the Bee Gees as a whole and how they came back together to make more music. That's at least my understanding of the purpose of this.
Mm-hmm. Because I just think they could have gone a little step further. I think in telling it, instead of like here's the Bee Gees, here's what happened here, and it ended up just feeling like a Wikipedia article for me.
So I mean, sooner or later we're gonna have to come up with like our own scoring system, but for now we could give it a 1 to 10. 1 to 10 for recommending, 10 being the highest.
I'd give it a 7 myself, because I didn't know who the Bee Gees were. I knew the Bee Gees music, I just didn't know who they were, and just learning this much about them did feel cool, and I never found myself at any point looking at the clock like, okay, what's gonna happen?
Right.
Can we move on?
Yeah, I think I'll give it a 7 also. If it wasn't for the singing along aspect, I'd probably go to a 6. Just because it's kind of it's stretched out, but it's a fun stretched out.
And one last thing, they pass by so much history too. They pass by the deaths so much as well. Like they're just mentioned in, they're just a sentence. That's it.
It's like, oh, this one's dead.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you remember Andy from earlier? Yeah, he joined them, and then he died like a year into it.
I thought he died like a few months into it, and
it maybe so.
I thought it was like he joined and then died, like.
Yeah, I think it may have been some. I could have sworn I saw like he joined and then a year later he died.
Anyway,
Yeah,
but
he joined and died, and then
I
the
said
other two, Mo and Robin. Yeah,
real quick, I think Mo made like a real good point when like on one of the things he told Andy. It was like, oh, I see all the nice cars and all that you have, but if you keep going down this road, you're gonna have none of it. And poor Andy didn't listen. But,
yeah.
All right, so that's
that just felt like that, like their deaths just felt so looked over.
Yeah.
You know, like.
But I would definitely recommend you guys go watch it. I liked it a lot.
Okay. Well, I mean, we both gave it the same score, surprisingly too. I thought you were gonna like it a whole lot more.
Well, I did like it. I'm trying not to be. I don't want to give out high scores too easily. You know, I want something that really wows me to get something higher. You know.
Okay.
No.
And let's jump into the next thing I had, which was I want to discuss Christmas presents with you, and more in particular, I had this story that I accidentally opened a Christmas present that was for me,
When?
not knowing. This was was it like 2-3 days ago? So the reason why I did not mean to do this, my parents have been telling me that they were finished buying everything for me. You know, they're like, "Oh no, you're done. Everything that we were gonna buy you is already here." Yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, but I know for my mother, my sister bought something for my mom in the name of my dad. So the other day there was a package that came in. It didn't have it had her name on it. So I instantly think, oh, these are the things for mom. I'm gonna open it now and check. And I open it instantly. I see something. I'm like, wait, hold up. That don't look like it's for her. That looks like for me. And I'm
Did you
just like,
tell her?
and I'm like, oh no, I didn't.
Oh.
I just kind of faked out like, hey Mo, who do you think this is for? It's like, oh, you should text your sister. And I take a photo of the package, and she's like, that's for mom. Don't give it to her, and she'll open it. I'm like, okay. So I pretend to open it, you know, like I pretend to rip the thing open. I'm like, oh, it's for you, mom, and then I kind of like, shh. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay. They kind of don't. I don't think they care enough to be like, oh, how dare he or anything.
All right, so I got a quick story.
Has
for
that
you.
ever happened to you where you just open your own
Yes.
presents?
Kind of. So one day when I was a kid, I don't know if I've told this story on. Anyway, so my mom asked me like, "Oh, run downstairs real quick and pick this up from the trunk of my car." And no, she doesn't even say the trunk of her car. She's like, "Oh, go get this case of water from the car," right? So normally we always put the cases of water in the trunk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I go down there, and like without looking, like without thinking, I just pop the trunk open, and as I'm lifting it, I see like in a garbage bag, I see a Razor scooter. You know the ones you kick her, right?
Yeah.
And then like as it lifted and I saw it, it clicked in my head and I slammed it shut. and I looked up and I could see my mom looking through the window at me. And I'm like, I didn't see anything. And she just looks at me. So then Christmas came and I don't see a long box anywhere. So I'm like, where is it? So then I open up everything and then I turn to my mom. I was like, Mom, where's the razor? And she's like, you saw it, so I had to return it. So that's my story.
Wow.
So now every time I see a razor, I'm like, almost. I almost had one.
That's harsh. I think that's harsh.
Yeah. And it was like a couple of weeks, like a week or two before Christmas, and I was like, damn, man. I almost had a razor.
But that's her fault, though.
That's exactly what I told her too. I was like, "Pa, we always put the water in the trunk. Why would you leave it in the trunk and then tell me go get it?"
I think she screwed you over. I think that's what she wanted to do. That way she could return it and be like, oh well,
she
that's
did
like
it. So
$50 back in my account.
yeah, she no, well, she got something else with it, but she she did it. So I had a story to tell on this podcast. She thought 15 years ahead in the future. I was like, I'm gonna set this boy up. Give him some.
Dude, I remember I have a story where I was a bad noodle, and we had the tree set up with presents there, and I decide I'm too impatient. So what I'm gonna do, I'm a tear off just a little bit of paper, just to see if it, like, the box would kind of tell me, or I get like a little hint at what it is. You get me? The thing is, I did it for too many presents. So I there was a good amount of, not every present, but some of the presents, like the big ones, I just like tear off a little bit of paper just so I could be like, what is this? Oh, that's that? Cool, hell yeah.
What is it? Were your parents the ones to like leave the presents out like all month under the tree?
Yes.
And at my house, they're always hidden until like the day.
Oh wow. No, we usually, except for this year, since we're going up to visit my sis, but no, we always have the tree and we always just start putting them in the bottom.
Yeah. No.
And so yeah, that happened, and just so happened that year, we were celebrating something where the rest of my family was also going to be here, since we have a big like outdoor area. So my parents are looking for like, oh hey, what presents should we take out so everyone can see us open it, and what should we kind of put away and then open like kind of privately or just to ourselves. Like let's not open up socks in front of everyone or undies. And that's what my parents look, and they're like, dog, what the hell is this? Why are there little holes or little papers taken off of these things? And I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Should be like maybe rats. I don't know.
Oh yeah, they find out it's me, and those presents get locked away until middle of the night, Christmas Eve.
See, if that was my house, they would have been returned.
Yeah, that's where I think I am very much lucky that never happened.
Right.
I got my little. I remember the one thing I asked for that I really wanted. It was this board game, but it was like football based.
Was it the NFL Monopoly?
No, it wasn't Monopoly. It was like its own game. But it was like these kind of monsters, and you played like one side versus another side. And my head liked the idea, but I was so young, I didn't understand how to play it. And even better, I had no one to play it with. So I remember after I just played it just by myself. Until I eventually lost all the pieces. But ever since then, I've never tried doing that. I've never tried opening up a present.
Oh, good.
Ever again.
Good.
Until this year, apparently.
By accident.
Completely by accident, yes.
Alright.
And let's get into what I wanted to talk about this week. Which we're kind of going to have I thought to myself, damn, we sure do talk about Star Wars a lot. Yeah. And we're not Star Wars. I want to let everyone know, we are not a Star Wars podcast.
Yes, we are not a Star Wars.
We are not a Star Wars podcast.
So to make it up this week, we're going full manly man and talking sports ball.
To which, let's talk about the biggest thing out there, poop.
Yes.
To people who don't know, audio listeners and whatnot, I am talking in particular Monday Night Football's game from December 14th. Ravens versus
the Browns.
The Cleveland Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens. And so partway through it, I think the Ravens are winning by 15 points.
Right.
And then suddenly, Baltimore's winning by 15. Suddenly, their quarterback goes into the locker room right after, I think, scoring a touchdown. Play that.
their head their head quarterback is like, I gotta poop, move.
Yeah, just runs kind of like, okay, like just very. You can tell he's not. He doesn't look injured. You get me?
Yeah. Did they say right away what he was doing?
They just said like he's out with like he's questionable to come back with like he's having a cramp problem.
And then.
But here's the thing, though. It's a cold night, and I think you can't get cramps come when it's hot.
Maybe I'm not exactly sure. So at some point, I don't know exactly the moment. Then for our audio listeners, the thing I'm playing here is a loop of the quarterback running into the back. At some point, they had mentioned that he had to use the bathroom. He had to relieve himself. And within within
well,
that
no,
time,
that never got told. They just said he had cramps.
The whole time.
Yeah, no, they never said he had to do it. They just said
he,
he's questionable to come back. He has cramps.
Did he say afterwards that he had to use the bathroom?
No. So we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay. So
let's go to the RG3 comments.
Well, I would like to mention
Yeah.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I would like to mention that through this period, the Browns are making a comeback.
Yeah, they're slowly coming back. The Ravens have to play their third-string quarterback because their second-string, Robert Griffin III, is injured.
Right.
And this is him. This is him putting out this meme as well now.
It is a
and
picture
he put that out later.
Two football players, one's chasing the other. The one player running ahead is the Browns' lead, and the one behind it is Lamar after pooping, and it's the player catching up. So yeah, there's that meme.
So that went out, and this went after the game, and essentially this is everyone's like, yeah, no, he just confirmed it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Damn, they ain't gotta do like that. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Lamar Jackson returns to the game.
Yes, and blows the back out of the Browns' lead. Do you want me to play?
Yeah,
this?
he returns. Cleveland is up by 1 point.
Yes.
Yep.
With 2 minutes left.
With 2 minutes left. The first play Lamar Jackson comes back. It's fourth and 6 or 5, and instantly scores a touchdown.
Right.
Instantly scores a touchdown.
Now, real quick, you think this man wiped before he came back? Because I saw him clapping up all his teammates and you think he washed his hands and wiped?
I hope he does. I mean, he took a good amount of time. Okay.
I know, but sometimes when you're in the public bathroom, you see people taking a long time and they just walk straight out. So you think that that was my thought the whole time. I was like, I see him clapping up his teammates, hugging them, and all that. And I'm like, man, I hope you wiped. I hope you wiped
twice. All right, wiped and wash your hands. Okay.
Exactly, because I don't need you to smudging your poo on me. So there's that.
Dude, so that happens. Cleveland scores. Ravens score to go up by 7, along with the 2-point conversion that they get as well. Browns come back, score again, give a minute. They leave a minute on the clock. Ravens come back down again and score the game-winning field goal.
Right.
End of game.
With 2 seconds left, if I remember correctly.
No, more. No, way more.
Okay. No, I mean they left after their field goal. They left 2 seconds.
Yes.
Anyway.
That happens. Yeah. Lamar Jackson comes and he says in an interview, he's like, "No, guys, I didn't have to poop. I didn't pull a Paul Pierce. I didn't send you this Twitter link to him saying that." But what he's referring to is, let's go to that video.
Okay. Okay, now I understand.
So 2008 NBA Finals, LA versus Boston. Uh, at Boston, when suddenly you can play it while we're talking.
Okay. Mute it. There you
They're playing, and suddenly LA scores, and in doing so, Paul Pierce falls down. Everyone thinks he's badly hurt. If you want to go back, you can see like he barely like touched Kobe. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. the champ. Right. And
it gets so bad. Everyone thinks he's doing so bad that they end up having to bring in a wheelchair to get him out. Look at that. Look at that.
So, I was like, do you think like as he jumps down, he's like, "Ooh, it almost came out. Let me just lay here for a little bit."
It has to. I think that's exactly what happened.
And like he's trying to whisper to them now, "Take me to the back. I gotta poop." Who confirmed that he had to poop here as well?
I'll tell you about that later, but let's just go through this first.
Let's just. Wow, they're really psychoanalyzing this, huh?
Yeah. I think they just have nothing else to do. They're like, oh yeah, and then suddenly, a little bit into the game, boom, he comes right back out.
He's like stone cold. Oop, hello. I hope he wiped and washed his hands as well. Man, he must feel great right now.
Oh well, yeah. Apparently, thanks to Paul Pierce, they actually end up winning that game as well, if I'm right.
He had to get the poop out of him.
With it, so I guess we'll end it there.
All right.
So that happened. You saw that, and it wasn't until last year actually that Paul Pierce confirmed during I think a college game. I'm not sure that indeed, yeah, he got wheelchaired out because he needed to go to the restroom.
Mm-hmm.
So people have been kind of dogging on him, and even now, it's being linked to what happened with Lamar.
Oh well, I mean, it's not a horrible thing. People got to do what they got to do.
What do you think? Did Lamar Jackson have to take a shit?
Yeah.
Right.
Man,
I'm thinking the same thing.
That run did not look like I'm injured or anything. That just looked like hold up, I'll be right back. I gotta poo. That's man. That fiber wouldn't be hitting real hard now.
That's one of those like, oh no. You got me?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, he came straight off. It's once Baltimore I think scored or punted the ball away, like right before that, and I think like he would have been looked at by like a coach or something, or then like stretches inside like on the field.
No, if they would have started stretching him on the field, he would have pooped himself.
Yeah, no, like if it wasn't that.
Yeah. I know.
So I'm like, it had to be. Like, there's no way. Like, I imagine 5-6 years or whenever Lamar Jackson retires, they're gonna ask him. He's gonna be like, "Yeah, I had a poo. What about it?"
Yeah, I mean, if it was me now, excuse me, if it was me now, I'd say the same thing. I'm like, yeah, you poop as well. You know, Mother Nature be calling sometimes.
Yeah, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Even if you're in the middle of a meeting, you know.
Yeah. He dropped a number 2, and he dropped the Cleveland Browns as well.
Yeah, he dropped the number 2
and then he dropped Cleveland Browns.
Exactly. More ironically, that the Cleveland Browns are brown, so you know they're used to having 2s dropped on them. You know.
Yes. Yeah. No. It's He dropped the 2 in the dog pound in Cleveland. Dude, but I think this whole like thing has just made me laugh the past few days, so I just had to bring it up here.
What is it, real quick? You gave me links to the Bundesliga and to the Prem, but we're not going to talk the NFL at all. Besides the poop thing, we're not going to talk the Dolphins at all.
We don't have time, sir. Well, if we can get to it, we'll get to it.
Oh, we're already at it.
But this is my choo-choo train of episode, and I will decide how we go through this.
All right. So you want to do Bundesliga next?
Yes.
Right.
So I guess in time, we're going into December. We're finishing up December, and I think is Bundesliga going into the winter recess already, or do they have a game left?
They, as a matter of fact, yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, they played their last game of 2020. Bayern beat Wolfsburg 2-1.
It was 2-1, yeah.
And also, for our listeners who are not used to the Bundesliga is the German soccer league. I am a fan of FC Bayern München. They are the top team in Germany, like, of all time. I'm not on with them because of bandwagoning. My family's actually half my family's actually from Munich, so we're just Bayern fans from blood. So that's how I got a Bayern fan. It just happens to be they're the top team. I drew the lucky straw there.
For real.
So, what?
How do you feel about your team going into the winter?
So that we have been conceding a lot of goals lately. We do go behind. Like, I don't mind conceding goals. Obviously, it's the way we're doing it. We've been pretty sloppy on defense. Our 2 center backs are really the problem. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Boateng, he gets hurt a lot. What's there?
I think Boateng's just like at the end of his wheel right now.
Yeah. Sula, he's a bit too slow. Like, he's as good as Boateng, but he's slower. So, like, if Sula could, like, drop like 10 or 20 pounds and get faster, I think he'd be pretty good. I actually want us to sign the French center back from Leipzig. You know who I'm talking about?
There's 2 of them.
Hold on, no.
There's Kanate and Upamecano, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Upamecano. Yes, I want him.
Yeah.
The problem is he's going to be expensive.
The problem is you and all of Europe want him.
Yes, I wanted him a couple of seasons back. I've been wanting him for a while. So, since I watch Bayern, I have an eye on the Bundesliga all the time. So I see these players and how they play quite often. So, when you see like little sparks here and there, I'm like, okay, I like the sight of this. One thing Bayern is notorious for doing is signing players for free. So, I mean, if we could offer him a good contract and he waits out Leipzig, I don't know when his contract ends there, but
I think he signed an extension like a year or 2 ago. So I think you guys have to buy him out. If not,
and Bayern's not doing that. I can already tell you that. But excuse me, we're missing like one good center back because I like Alaba in the back there because he's pretty fast. He has a good eye. It's just sometimes like when you have one fast defender and one slow one, kind of it's kind of uneven, kind of. Well, Liverpool had the opposite problem when Van Dijk and Gomez were pretty fit. Like they were about the same. They ran about the same pace, so they could always like they know where to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like
get
they don't overcommit because they know what their limitations are. But Alaba or Boateng will overcommit and leave the other one open. But
any other players impressing you that are not on Bayern? I think I keep hearing about the American Rio from Dortmund.
yes, he's good. Obviously, there's the left wing Jamaican. I think
Bailey
It's
Bailey.
Bailey or Bailey from Bayer Leverkusen. He's
Is he
good,
like the sole reason why they're on top? Why are they?
kinda.
What is helping them get on top right now?
Actually, let me look at their fixtures. Not table, stat squad. It doesn't say. I think they've just had a lighter.
Well, I think like by now they wouldn't have. At this point of the season, don't they have like at least played every team once?
I don't remember. Hold on, let's see. It's not important. They're on top for now. Hey, congratulations. If they can hold it, well, if they can keep pace. I mean, basically, to beat Bayern, you have to literally lose 0 matches, which they've done so far. So yeah.
Man, I'm like that, but also I'm like, I feel like that always happens to Bayern. Like they're always trailing someone halfway through, and then they just like, all right, let's be serious now.
Yeah. Well, another thing with specifically this season, which we'll get to it when we talk about the Prem, is like all these matches are squished in. So it's like you're having to rotate all these players like crazy. Like thank goodness we have a bunch of young players, so we're able to rest some of our big stars. Like there was a few games Lewandowski didn't even get on the pitch. Like it was just Choupo-Moting the whole time. Which, by the way, what a waste of a signing Choupo-Moting is. While I'm on it, like I know we need like a backup striker who didn't care about sitting on the bench all season, but there could have been someone else.
Yeah, you guys.
Like we saw the sitter he missed against us in the final, and we're like, we'll sign him.
Yeah, you guys kind of gave him like, hey, thanks for not scoring on us at the 90.
Yeah. We're gonna reward you with a contract. But yeah. For the Bundesliga, pretty sure Bayern will win again.
Yeah, I think it's almost like
unless Leverkusen doesn't lose another game, like they just go perfect season. Let's see.
Well, I mean, Leipzig is tied on points right now, so that.
Well,
essentially, it seems to be like just a three horse race at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dortmund's a little behind, but they're not too far off.
Any players in particular that are also shining out to you?
We have we have an American on Bayern's team. Hold on, let's see, squad. Jamal Musalia? No. Musiala. There you go.
Musala?
No, Musiala.
Okay.
And I think Joshua Xerxes. I think they're both American. No, he's German. Is this one American? No, Dutch.
Dutch.
We have an American. I can't remember who the hell. I thought we had an American. Harp, Mula. Alright, well anyway, Xerxes and Musiala, they definitely look good. Again, once we get
Chris Richards looks like an American name.
That's who it is. Yes, he looks good too. Center back. Yes, he's doing really good. Hello. Alphonso Davies is starting to come back from his injury. Joshua Kimmich also. He's starting to come back.
He's always great.
What is it? Sane? So here's my thing. I like Sane. He
To people who don't know, Sonny is one of the newest big additions.
Yes,
Squad.
this is the one thing I like about the way Bayern play. They rotate their front four, so their attacking midfielder, their striker, and their two wingers. They keep rotating them, so they're always like switching, running off each other. This and that, this and that, this and that. And Sana plays good. It's just his finishing isn't so good. Like everything else he does is good. It's just the finishing, which I hope the more time he spends at Bayern, he'll get more confident. I didn't know Musiala was German
though. Any other non-Bundesliga, non-Bayern players that have impressed you, or you don't know enough?
Hold on. Wait a second. The American from where is he? Well, Erling Haaland.
He was right there.
I know, but I was gonna Erling Haaland from Dortmund. Obviously, he's always good. Where the?
He's right there. You were right on him.
Oh,
right.
Reina.
Giovanni Reina.
Yes.
The next Captain America, apparently.
He's a part of the Avengers. That's what I'm gonna call it now, right? It's no more Captain America because that's Pulisic. Pulisic right now is Captain America, but we need the rest of the Avengers. All right. That's my thought. Let's see. There was one other player. I can't remember what team he plays for. I'm just gonna.
Are you looking for the other American?
No.
Are you talking about Sargent?
No, I'm just gonna skip.
Okay.
Let's go on.
Also, what is happening to Schalke? I swear, every year they start off crap. Is this their year to just finally go down?
It might be, honestly. Let me tell you that 8-0 defeat on the first day of the season did not help their confidence at all. They're currently the Arsenal of the Bundesliga. We'll talk a little bit more of that in a minute.
Man, like I saw it earlier when I was looking. I'm like, Schalke last place?
Yeah.
Like what? Like a few years ago, they were always like top 5.
Yeah.
And then the last few years, they just look like no matter what.
They've been having a lot of financial problems.
Oh, is that what it is? Like they have to sell players?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they sold the American midfielder. I can't remember his name now.
McKennie?
Yeah, McKennie. Yeah, they had to sell McKennie. Well, they've just like pissed away the money they've gotten for these players. They got Leroy Sané for they sold him for 100-something million euros. It's a city. Pissed that away as well. But yeah, I watch the Bundesliga also on ESPN Plus, so all cool there.
Okay, thanks, host. Let's move over to the Prem League.
Yes.
I think this is the one I watch the most, just because it just feels most available.
Yeah, it's the English Premier League, formerly known as the Barclays Premier League.
Yes, my favorite soccer team has to be Manchester United.
Currently in 6th place.
I know. Thank you for your sad claps.
He's like, "What's this?"
Thank you for your sympathy.
Sad claps.
I'd say for me at least, I was not born there. My family, no association. My parents doesn't really like soccer. They never watched it on TV, other than maybe the World Cup.
I thought your dad was a goalkeeper.
My dad played goalie, but he got injured and he just never got interested in it again. He didn't care enough about soccer.
Okay.
Afterwards. So after that, and I never got into it until a friend of mine lent me their game of FIFA.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw, I don't know, just scrolling through, I'm like, let me find a random team. Like, oh, Manchester United, they have 5 stars on FIFA. Why don't I try him out? And I don't know why. Just from there, I'm like, all right, I guess it's my team now.
Well, for me, as I said before, Bayern's my team. One thing, I've always liked Liverpool, like the feel of the team. But when it comes to the Premier League, I mean, I like watching the top teams, of course, but I'm more interested in watching certain players. So, like, I like Liverpool and everything. When we went to, actually, they had one of the Manchester United Liverpool derbies here in Miami. Remember when we went to that?
Yes, I do remember that.
I have the Liverpool scarf because I wanted to go against you, so I picked Liverpool that day. But
yeah, I think that was the day that you decided, like, I guess I'm Liverpool now.
Yeah. So I was always a big fan of Stevie G. That's why another reason why I liked Liverpool. Some of the players I like watching now, Heung-min Son, I've been watching him since he played for Bayer Leverkusen back in the Bundesliga. So I followed him here, and it's always nice seeing him grow. I love Leicester's story. That was still an incredible year that they won that. Any other players? Oh, Captain America at Chelsea.
Captain America on Chelsea.
I still can't believe. Well, there's a few other players that I watch from Chelsea as well. Kai Havertz and Timo Werner. They spent like 220 million euros or pounds during the transfer market this year, and they're still lower than they were last year at this point, which is kind of crazy.
Kai hasn't really been performing that well.
Yeah, I think he just has to get used to it because
yeah, and Werner's been a little not as slow as Kai, but I think he was the reason. I think Werner may have been the reason why they lost actually the last game.
Right.
Because at this point they have him playing on wing as opposed to striker.
Right. And see, that's kind of the thing that pisses me off. Like, so Timo Werner, he's like striker. You don't play him at winger. It's kind of the same thing with Aubameyang at Arsenal. You don't play him wing because you're not going to get the right performance out of him. Like in the Bundesliga, these guys played at striker and they were killing it. That's why they got this big move. Speaking of Arsenal, they're down at 15th because Aubameyang scored an own goal. See, this is what happens when you play players out of position. They score own goals. But, yeah. I don't see an English team doing well in Europe this year, mostly because of how packed their schedule is. Jurgen Klopp, a manager I like from even back in his Dortmund days, I liked him. He's the manager of Liverpool, or currently in first place right now. He made a really good point a few months ago where it's because of the whole COVID thing and how compact these schedules are, it's like they're doing the winter schedule for 3 months instead of 1 month. And he was complaining about the winter schedule back when it's only 1 month. Because in Germany, the way the games are, they like spread them out. And then like for Christmas, they get like 3 weeks off. But in England, they play every week throughout the Christmas break.
Yeah. So right now, they played on Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
Some teams just finished playing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And now they have to go back and play again Saturday, Sunday,
right,
Monday. And then they have to always play on Boxing Day, that being
Christmas.
I think Christmas, yeah.
And then, like another thing Jurgen Klopp was complaining about is if they play a game during the week, like let's say on a Wednesday afternoon, the league will book their next match for midday on a Saturday when it's like, why don't you give us the night game so we have more time to rest our players? And it's not fair that, and that's another thing, the higher team you are, the more games you get because you're in more competitions.
Yeah.
So
no, it's so horrible. Like, yeah. I think, and even without the Champions League, it still is a lot of games.
Yes, and he's mentioned before, where he's not really saying to spread out the schedule because he wants to win more. It literally is hard on the players to play so much in such a condensed time. Like it feels like the Liverpool players are dropping left, right, and center on the injury list. Like really,
especially this year. Yeah, because I mean, look, the thing is, there's 20 teams as opposed to some of the other leagues that some only have 16, 18.
Like the Bundesliga only has like 16, I think.
Yeah, they have that. They have to play some teams have to play Champions League or Europa League.
And then the two different cups that England has because they have.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 of them. Yeah.
So it's so many games.
So many games, so much time that players don't have. Like it gets to the point where it's like they're playing every Saturday.
Right.
They're playing every weekend and middle of the week.
And then the other thing, which like Jurgen Klopp was like, okay, if you don't give us if you don't space out our schedule, at least do, because the Bundesliga is still doing this. One thing the Bundesliga does, they give each team 5 substitutes. Normally you only get 3. But because of the compact schedules and all that, they're giving each team 5, which allows you to switch more players out so they can get more rest, right? But no, the Prem's like, okay, you're going to play all the games compact. You're not going to get as many substitutions, and you're going to sit there and deal with it.
Yeah.
And
I don't think it's like it's like the COVID season where they got like water breaks. They got rid of that, right?
Yeah,
remember when they were finishing last season?
Yeah.
And it would be like they would have at least like 2 times each half. Well, 1 time each half.
Yeah.
Where they would just stop and get water.
I don't think they do that anymore. I think they mostly did that because it was summer.
And yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like they stopped doing that as well.
Yeah. But I think if they're going to at least make them play all those games so close to each other, at least give them the 5 substitutes. I think that's only fair. Because I completely agree. It's not just Liverpool that's having that problem. A bunch of teams are having injury problems because of like players just not being able to like physically keep up with it.
No, for real. Let's see. I'm very happy with how I guess going now into how teams are doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy where United is.
Real quick, do you think they should get rid of the
Pogba?
The man? No, well, I was thinking the manager first and then Pogba. Like, what are your opinions? Yeah.
I mean, look, they're doing good right now, man.
Good.
We are.
Yeah.
Right now we're 6th, but we've played 1 less game. If we were to win our game being against Leeds, we would be 2nd place right now if we win.
Right.
But I think in the past weeks he's shown that he can update and he can motivate his players.
What do you think
back a few. I'm still going on about it. A few years ago, you would see like if United got scored on first, you would just see heads go down. Like they would have no compassion or anything. Now it's like, I think Man U is still letting some teams score first, but the players are still motivated. They still think we can get this back.
Right.
We can still come back.
I actually have a few other questions.
Go ahead.
First off, what did you think about that Manchester derby? Because I saw they were talking about it on Twitter. They're just like going in on it because after the Manchester derby, which is Manchester United versus Manchester City, they were just ripping into the players that were like hugging each other and like being all buddy buddies. Like this is what the Manchester derby has come to. Where it used to be they used to rip each other's heads off. Yeah.
I mean, that's just how sports is now. These are players that Manchester United, like they're full of players where they're gonna see each other eventually, like international break.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be like I hate you. It doesn't have to be like. It don't have to be like like Michael Jordan versus like Isaiah Thomas every time. Like Rashford's gonna see Sterling on the England team, and they're gonna all the England players are gonna see each other. So why are they gonna fight?
Hello.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
All right. Whatchamacallit, and then the other thing was I think it's Harry Maguire. What do you think about him? He's been goofing up as of late. Is it Harry Maguire? Am I thinking the right player?
Yeah, it's our captain. He's been doing. Funny enough, he was captain. I think earlier in the year. I think that I don't think he is, or sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. He's been a little slipping. I think I saw a stat where he still is, even with all the slip ups, he still is the best. He still has the best aero clearance of any defender in the league. I know, but I think he just needs to have better communication with his back line, because he is letting in some dumb goals in.
That's an understatement. Oh man.
And it always feels like it's him alone. We have Lindelof, who sometimes I'll be like, okay, you did that. That was your fault. But I feel like more than not, it's always Harry Maguire that I see like, it's his fault.
Yeah. And when your captain's goofing up like that, it's hard to, at least for me, it's hard to be like motivated from that. Like you're like, I could be the best player in the world, but if you keep goofing this up, man, it's not going to end well for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So real quick, give me your top 5, and then I want to see your bottom 5.
Okay.
What do you think they're going to end the season like? Who do you think is going to win, second place, so on?
Man, this is probably one of the best seasons out there, because it's just really, you don't know. Liverpool's banged up. Tottenham's good, but they have Jose. So midway through the season, every player could just go like shit form, and there's nothing he can do about it.
They get tired of just sitting back and defending the whole game.
Yeah. Chelsea's been doing this for a few years, but they just lose a lot of dumb games. A lot of games that you're like, all right, you should win this. They're just like, out of nowhere, it's like, oh no, we lost, and we lost bad. We lost like 3-1.
All right, so
I think the last game was pretty bad that Chelsea lost. But sorry, go ahead.
All right, so number 1, give me your number 1. Who's gonna win? Actually, no. Let's start at 5. Who's gonna get 5th place?
5th place. I'm gonna say Everton stays there. Right now, it's Everton. I think they have a good enough team, and they like to just kind of creep up on people. I think they could stay where they're at, and I'll be very comfortable with that.
So
Thomas has really changed the team as well.
I think Everton's just gonna miss it. I think they're gonna be in 6th, but I think Man United's gonna be in 5th.
Okay.
Actually,
I can see. I want to say Man U makes it to the top 4. At least, my hope is that they're like, okay, we made it to Europa League. We don't give a crap. Let's just focus on the league. We are literally one win a game from 2nd place. And this is a year where it's so random. Everyone's just playing horrible, and can just lose random games. I want Man U just focus on the league.
All right. So,
and if they can focus on the league, I think they can even win it.
All right. So 4th place, who do you think?
4th place, I think Chelsea finds their form again, and they can take 4th or 3rd.
I was thinking Chelsea also. That's a good one.
If they can find their form, and if they can find that one or two players who just like, okay, I'm gonna carry the team behind my back. Kind of like how last year where Pulisic, those last few games, he was like, this is my team now.
He Captain America'd in England.
He seriously did, people. Watch some of those highlights.
All right, so 3rd place, who do you think?
3rd place, I think I think Spurs fall down.
I'm thinking Leicester gets third.
I think Leicester's good. I just don't think they're good enough to stay up there.
Or
That's my opinion, though. I mean, they have Vardy, they have that Cam player.
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna go Leicester third. So top two. What do you think? Who's gonna get second?
Man, is there? I mean, I'm gonna pick Man U to win it myself, of course, because I am that person. So I say Liverpool gets second.
Right. And I'm thinking, well, I already see Van Dijk training, so I'm gonna go Tottenham second, and then.
Yeah, you think Liverpool's gonna keep it?
I think Liverpool's, if they could get Van Dijk back, I think they're gonna win it.
Because right now I'm like, they are pretty banged up. I think
They
I don't
are.
even know. I don't know what their front line looks like at the moment.
You mean their back line?
I think no, the front line too. I think isn't Salah also injured?
No, Salah, he's fine. It's Diego Jota who's injured.
Oh, really?
And
he was starting off great this year too.
Yeah, and not Diego, and what's his?
Minho?
No.
Mane?
Alacan.
Oh, Thiago?
Yeah, Thiago Alcantara. There you go. Excuse me.
Yeah, that he's in. Is he injured?
He's injured.
He's injured. I think Fabinho's also injured.
I think he started last game.
Okay, so he's just coming back too.
Let's see. Squad.
Well, it's not gonna show you injury update.
I know, but Van Dijk's injured. I haven't seen Gomez play. I think they're like on their third string defenders. I think it's this Greek guy playing, and
wait, hold up. I'll tell you right now. I'm pulling up the last game against Spurs.
Like they had some dude at defense I never even saw before, and I was like, "Who's this?"
Yeah, so right now their back line, Liverpool's back line is they still got Alisson at goal.
They just got him back. This was actually his first game back.
Robertson, Fabinho, Williams, some dude named Williams, playing in the back.
Yeah, Reece Williams
and Trent. Yeah, and then Trent Alexander-Arnold.
This man doesn't even have a picture on the Premier League website.
Let's see. Midfield, they have Wijnaldum, which is, I think they were very lucky to keep him because Barcelona was creeping. We're begging to have him.
Good they need to get rid of him because Thiago's injured.
Who's Jones? Number 17.
Oh, Curtis Jones. He's kind of like the I guess you'd call it he's like the Dortmund player, the midfielder that we talked about.
Okay.
But he's English and he plays for Liverpool. Like he's a up and coming young player. He's doing pretty well.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So that's there, and then front line is still Mane, Firmino, Salah.
Yeah. Firmino, he's been doing that. To be honest.
He's doing that. Honestly, during the Tottenham game that they just played, he came out player of the game.
Because he got the winning goal. That's why.
Yeah.
If he didn't, it would have. I don't even know who it would have been. But yeah. All right. So those are our predictions halfway through the season.
Yeah, it's still fun to look at.
Yeah. Who do you think's gonna win the real quick, who do you think's gonna win the Champions League?
Oof. Oh man. The games I'm looking at right now.
No, just like final. Who do you think's gonna win it all?
But I'm thinking like from what I've seen so far. I feel like Juve finally pulls it through.
Nah, I'm going.
They finally are like, yo, Buffon, we need to win them one.
Nah, Bayern got this. Yo,
again though?
If we do back-to-back trebles, I'd lose it.
Yeah, man, I don't know, man. Who do you have to play against now?
It's Lazio.
Lazio. Well, That's an automatic right there.
Well, what is it? They got a pretty good team, but
yeah, but I mean, unless Immobile scores 5 goals between both games, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And did you want to go through the NFL?
No, we're at an hour and 30. I always have to chop this up anyway, so I don't want to add more to it. I don't want to make this a 2-hour thing.
Very well. And with that, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We didn't get into every sport we could, but
maybe we'll save that
somehow
for another time.
we find a way to just keep talking and talking.
That's how it be on here on the TBD podcast. Anyway,
what was that?
I said that's how it be on the TBD podcast.
Yes. So, Hose, where can they find us?
They can find us.
Even though you're listening to us right now, where else could you find us?
Twitter, Instagram, name it TBD. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Overcast, Anchor, name it TBD Podcast. YouTube as well, TBD Podcast. Go give us a follow and listen to us more, please. Tweet at us, we'll respond. Message us on Instagram. Well, I'll respond. I'm
Jump
the one.
into our DMs on Instagram, people.
Not in a weird way though, just in a hey, we like the content.
Hey, it is what it is.
No.
Sell us your MLMs or
give us your credit card information. That's 3 digits on the back as well.
3 to 4.
3 to 4. I've only ever seen 3.
I don't know. I've always heard that there's sometimes 4, but I've just heard it in myth. But whenever I have to put in a credit card info, I always see put in the 3 to 4 digits in the back.
Huh.
Regardless,
we all learned something new today. Thank
you for joining us.
Have a good one.
Next week will be a little weird, but we'll get through it.
We'll figure it out as we go along. Bye, everyone. Bye.